Muted.
Afters in here. And if anybody is ever interested in doing that, just let me know. Send me an email. And one of the things that's really, really awesome about doing that was what actually inspired me to push further, harder, faster than I ever did, stick to a diet when I had a reputation for not being able to stick to a diet. And it pushed me, you know, it was supposed to be a 6-week plan, and when 6 weeks came, I was going off like everybody else. I just continued another 6 and another 6, and I can tell you that every before and after that you're going to see on this webinar pretty much would tell you the same thing. So I think if you ever want to do that, pick a trigger date. You know, that's a date you're going to start, and no matter what happens, that's your trigger date. You run and you go for it. So let me know. And also, you know, if you need help through that, you know, I'm happy to help. So let's get rocking and rolling. I'm curious how many of you want to lose a pound a day. We all do. If anybody is doing social media, please be my friend. Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram. YouTube is a huge resource for any of you out there that have questions, because not only are all my TV segments, there's long forms on there where I go into detail about things, and also little vignettes that I shoot sometimes, you know, in the middle of a restaurant when I'm eating with someone, I'll show you a food. So any question you have, go to YouTube and watch it. You can listen to it in the background. And now we'll begin. Here we're going to start hopefully with a little bit of inspiration. On the upper left-hand corner is Vanessa Brooks, who's on this call. She is a girl who inspires me, by the way. I don't remember what her total weight loss is, to be honest, because she loses so much continuously that I've lost track. But this after you see here is going to be replaced with a new after that changes by the week. And hope Vanessa doesn't mind me sharing her story, but she inspires me because she's got 50,000 reasons why she shouldn't, and I would say, you're right, you can't work out, but she does it anyway. She's got epilepsy and a short speech, and you see that bubbly little face? Doesn't stop her. And when I don't feel like getting up to work out, I think of all of you who are out there with 16 different reasons that don't want to work out, but you do it anyway. And then the gentleman in the center, Paul, who I hope is on this call or joining soon, he joined forces with his wife and ended up, I think he's over 60 pounds and continued to get lean through the holidays just because his wife was on the plan and he started drinking the shakes and getting better every day. The next one, Lisa Simpson, she actually was threatened by her doctor with gastric bypass and said, nope, give me one more try, and decided to hop on this plan, and she's down probably 50, 60 pounds as well as her husband. And one more on the right. I love all these things, so I have to tell you this. But this is Teresa. She's lost about 35 pounds. And one thing I can tell you, I wish you could see all of their before and afters, because Teresa lost 35 pounds, but she has to she worked out, and so 35 pounds looks like 105 pounds on her because she worked out. And if anybody out there is doing this weight loss, and the diet is 90% of it, and I tell you, you don't have to work out to lose weight, but I really cannot urge you enough, and I'm going to get into it in this webinar, because when I get before and afters, I can tell you who's working out and who isn't. And sometimes even big amounts, like 90 pounds, don't really look like much, because you want to be a nice, tight, firm brick. If you think about a 5-pound brick and what 5 pounds of cotton balls looks like, it fills the room. That's the difference the right workout makes. So we don't want to bulk. But anyway, anybody, sorry, I'm talking to some people online who are saying they cannot hear. You need to call in the number, and I apologize for all of you who did do that. Anyway, let's go to the next page. So you can, anybody can, lose 1 pound a day. This is not an if with this program. It's a when, and it's all you have to do is follow the plan. And you can melt off stubborn belly fat, which is pretty much what everybody that I see in this new stage of life, everybody could be skinny, is struggling with belly fat. Most importantly, you can also become stronger and more fit. So as you age, you'll not only take the weight off, but you'll keep it off. And here's a huge one that I don't think that I talk to enough. You can improve your overall health, lower cholesterol, lower your triglycerides, lower blood pressure, lower blood sugar levels, which is critical when it comes to weight loss and reducing belly fat. You can also reduce inflammation, which could be the cause of pain if any of you are out there and struggle with pain, and also slow the aging process. But here's one thing you might not know. If you've got high cholesterol, high triglycerides, high blood pressure, your blood sugar levels are high, all of those things aren't just medical conditions that absolutely can be fixed with this program, but they also affect your weight loss and they make it harder. So not just anything will work. Anyway, the only thing that you have to do is make the decision to do it. And that amazes me when I say to people, what did you do? I decided. And let me just hop back to that for a second. This girl up in the right-hand corner lost over 90 pounds. I love these stories. This was a teacher at my son's school whose daughter was really depressed and hurting, and she asked if I would send a book in with him to school, and of course I always oblige. But read the book, and she was actually a fitness instructor, had done everything, and look at this, just grabbing the shakes and following the plan better than ever, but most importantly, she's not depressed anymore. So if no one has read my book and you need more, continue to really, keep thumbing through the book, keep looking through it, and until you get the answers that you need, or reach out is my suggestion to you. Back to the next one. This gentleman also, 100 pounds, lives out of state. This type of system that I promote, metabolic boosting, makes weight loss faster and easier, no matter what kind of plan that you're on. So can I just hit pause for a second? I'm sorry, I just have to send some people a note. Apologize, I talked to myself. Anyway, eating thermogenically. This is something you're going to continue to hear more about. I've been talking about it for 20 years, but it's going to be in the next 5 the only way people lose weight. And eating thermogenically, thermogenic means turn up the heat. And that means that when we do turn up the heat in your metabolism, we also recalibrate your appetite. So I get 50,000 emails all day. I'm starving. And the first thing I know is that there's not enough vegetables being eaten. And vegetables are the thermogenic powerhouses to our diet. And every time you eat a vegetable, I want you to think, I'm eating a weight loss pill. It really is that powerful. Not only that, they are pumped with vital nutrients that keep us healthy and well. So 10 vegetables is the bare minimum. Not only that, these vegetables, the ones listed in the book, thermogenic, leafy greens. If you're not sure if a vegetable is thermogenic, you should have the book or the ebook, and you should look on that list to double check. But to keep it simple, leafy greens, the leafier the better. Those are the thermogenic, lowest in calories, lowest in carbs, but it is good to know that vegetables are what we consider careful carbs. Careful carbs are the kind of carbs that are going to help us lose weight without causing weight gain, where the other ones, you can be really careful eating them, it still doesn't mean you're going to lose weight. So eating thermogenically is lots of seafood is your best option, and leafy greens. I call it green and white in my world, and no, cheese doesn't fall in my category. Also, when you're eating that way, to all you are going, ew, but I hate fish. I cannot stress enough how important it is to continue in our lives to grow and try new things, try new foods, try new thoughts. I always say, show me someone who struggles with their weight, and I'll show you someone who doesn't like vegetables. And that was me, by the way. And when I started to really eat my 2 ounces of chicken, which is technically what a 5'2" height person needs to eat, I had this huge void on my plate, and I learned how to eat vegetables really quick. But I had to be hard on myself. I had to say, you can sit here and starve, or you can add some salad to your plate. And slowly I started to actually really, really, really like the vegetables. So keep trying new things. You're allowed to spit it out if you don't like it. Maybe buy one piece of fish for your whole family to try, a small one. Spend a couple of dollars, go to a place that makes it ready for you. Try it and see, because white fish and seafood is so powerful for your metabolism. It contains iodine, which enhances your thyroid. And this is the thing that nobody really talks about with seafood. Why? Well, every day that we age, our thyroid backs up a little bit. If you're a woman and you're above 40, you don't need a blood test. You already know your thyroid is beginning to slow down. If you have been a diet researcher, meaning you're on and off every kind of diet, stop, start, play, don't play, eat, don't eat, that also affects your thyroid. Lots of things, including seasons, affect our thyroid. So it's really critical that you continue to try seafood in a way. And I actually have lots of recipes, over 100 in my book, that take yucky fishes that people hate and make them delicious so even the kids love them. Say it just ain't happening. You're not touching the fish. Chicken or turkey breast or egg whites are next. The protein shake is the #1 best thermogenic, so you can have that 2 meals a day, and egg whites for dinner. So it's not doable, but those are going to be the better sources, and chicken and turkey and poultry should be a default. If you have to, you go there. If you're stuck and you're not losing weight. Those are the fastest ways, the greens and the vegetable and the fish, that you can lose that pound a day. In fact, I've had people speed up their metabolism so fast we had to hit the brakes. That's how powerful that kind of eating is. This also flips your fat loss switch to on, or we can also do that by stacking supplements. Eating that way also turns your fat loss switch to on and switches your cravings to off. And if you can stick there long enough, you will find that all those things that are driving you nuts, change is not easy, start to go away about the 3rd or 4th day if you can hold on long enough. But every time we hit and eat the wrong thing and fall back to our old ways, we kind of restart and have to recycle all over again. You just get better at getting back up at it. For a lot of people, we need a little more than that. We need to flip our fat loss switch on, and more importantly, flip off the fat storage switch, which if you're a woman above 40, and I am, it's really, really difficult to get your body to burn fat for fuel. You could starve and kill yourself in the gym, and our bodies are stubborn. But that's where supplements can come in and really enhance this process. And I'm going to teach you on this webinar how to stack them so that you get the most powerful effects. Eating thermogenically also, don't let that scare you. I make it really simple with this program because it is hard if you're in a busy world to try to cook and do all that stuff. But all you have to do is drink 2 limited complete protein shakes a day and fuss over dinner. And I live my life this way because when I teeter-totter on the weekends, and I do, it allows me to stay balanced and keep my weight down. Without the shakes, I would be up and down 10 pounds chronically. So just like I brush my teeth, I drink that shake no matter where I am on the globe. I said to someone today, you have to think of drinking the shake like brushing your teeth. You would never think of not brushing your teeth on vacation. And for most of us in the real world, we need the shake to be an anchor point so that during the holidays, we're not gaining weight at record pace. So it could be as simple as 2 complete protein shakes a day. And by the way, you don't have to put those in the blender. I have had so much fun taking vanilla tea with the new advanced protein and shaking it up to, you wouldn't believe how fluffy it gets, for just a light hint of vanilla taste in there. It's outrageously delicious. So get creative in this department to stay out of the cheating and the munching that we all want to do this time of year. Also, somebody asked me the other day, and I don't think I talked about this enough, what do you do when your cravings hit? I am like the biggest sugar craver you have ever met in your life. I am a real person. I have stress that makes me want to eat, just like all of you. And I would say, I finally was asked in that way, what do I do? Well, the truth is, I do replace it with the lean bar, and my weight has actually changed 10 pounds since I made that bar, thank God. And some days I eat way too many. And while I'm not proud of that, I think I didn't realize how powerful that was while I'm a chocolate craver, that since I've had those bars, I no longer am out in the supermarkets looking for the wrong food. And also due to the makeup of the bar, it has literally the protein that's in my shake mixed with prebiotic fiber, which has improved my health, fills me up. It satisfies me with a cup of tea or decaf coffee, and I'm not looking for anything else. And so at least I call that eating in the box. As long as it's my safe food that doesn't trigger and send me way off into the embankment, this is hugely helpful. And I try not to keep anything but those in my house, because if it's in our house, studies prove we're going to eat it. The other way to squelch these cravings we're all suffering with this time of year is at nighttime. If you're eating the way that I've just talked about, you have a shake, you're having your green bar, you're taking your supplements, a generous portion of white fish, you can have twice as much white fish and still lose weight. But if you overeat on 1 ounce of chicken, you're not going to lose. And this is probably the biggest mistake that I see people make, and I get emails all day, I'm not losing, and I'm following it. And when I really get into it, I ask how much you're eating. The truth is, they don't know because they're not weighing and measuring their food. Well, I don't know about you, but if it's put in front of me, I'm eating it. And so chicken almost never is 3 ounces. And if you're 5'3" and under, our serving is 2 ounces. So just to give you an idea, if you like a lot of food, you've got to get into those stir-fry vegetables and those white fish every day. Can you guys hear me?
Now I can.
Okay, hold on. I don't know what's going on. It could be a glitch in the system, but I apologize. I'll continue. Anyway, we'll go on to the lighter and the whiter the fish. Did you get to hear about shrimp and scallops?
No.
Okay, I'll go over that again. So if you're eating thermogenically to take off a pound a day, which can be as simple as drinking 2 complete protein shakes daily. And then also, I was saying, somebody asked me the other day, what do I do when I am craving this time of year, I have stress. Guys, can you unmute your phones? Anyway, I tend to go around with way too many bars because, sometimes when stress hits and you're really hungry, what to do, I default to those because I find that while I might eat too many lean bars, it certainly keeps me out of the really bad food that makes me gain weight really quick. And so it's really important that you have your tools that are not going to trigger and that squelch your hunger. Those are some tips, like if you're having a hot cup of tea with a lean bar, so filling. And that green apple at 3 p.m., keep your eyes on those and your eyes off of everything else and keep it really simple. Because the more options we give ourselves, the more we're going to take. The other thing is, at nighttime, if you're eating a really generous portion of white fish every night, you're going to find you can eat twice as much white fish and still lose weight. So we're talking 4, 5, sometimes even 6 ounces. With a huge, let's say, shrimp and broccoli stir fry, or mixed vegetables, compared to 2 ounces of chicken due to the fat content. And I'll repeat something I said about fish, just in case you guys didn't hear it, but fish has iodine in it that helps enhance thyroid. And so I can't say enough how, I didn't say salmon if you notice, it is good, but it's high fat. The lighter and the whiter the fish, you can choose shrimp, scallops, lobsters. You can make a seafood stew. You can make a shrimp stir fry. And all of these recipes are in the book, by the way, with, all cleaned up specifically for thermogenics. It's not as bad as you think. In fact, when people are eating the right way, they're like, I can't possibly eat this much, because vegetables are where the fiber is that keeps us full. Anybody have questions on that before I move to the next screen? You can put them in the little bar down there. Okay, I'm gonna roll. Oh, so of course I had to put, I see lots of people all week, and I hate fish. Well, show me someone who hates fish and vegetables. I can show you someone who really struggles with their weight. And I see families that don't. It's really important to kind of get your whole family on board with you. And there's always going to be a confirmed fish hater. In fact, my son is one of them. But you never can stop trying to introduce new foods. Guys, can everybody just check to make sure their phone's muted, because I hear someone's dog barking. So even though you might think you hate these fish and vegetables, continue to try new things, but don't make it the base of your meal. Make it be like a side that, say you make one tuna patty and everybody tries it. So if everybody likes it, you can make more for the next night. Can we hit that? Guys, can you check your mute button again on your phone? I apologize, but someone's not muted, and I'm scared to touch that button here and mute you all for fear of. Somebody asked, what vegetables do you recommend? I recommend the leafy green that I had said in the screen before. Anything that's green and leafy is going to be your best choice for thermogenic. If it crunches, it's going to be a little lower on the tier. If it's bright and colorful, it could be higher in sugar. So if you haven't gotten my book that has the list, I really suggest you get it. I know that it's a Bible and it's really, really thick, but take off, just remove the sections you're not interested and stick to the ones that you want to learn more from. Leave it out. I have to have mine marked up with a sticky note. So you've got the vegetable list there. You've got your recipes out there, so you know what you're supposed to eat, and there's no margin of error, because if you're not losing a pound a day, you know that you're just not eating on the right plan. You know that you're probably doing more fish. And there's even a little quiz card in there, like, what do I do when people come see me? How do I know if they're eating correct? Well, the scale tells me everything I know. And it doesn't matter if it's the new book or the old book, all the same. The new book is really just repackaged. It has a shopping list. It's done a little differently. And supplements don't name my brand. But any of the books count. There's a list in there. Rip the page out, take a picture with your phone, and bring it shopping with you. The other thing is, get on those recipes, because this one right here, Tuna for Fish Haters, one of the reasons I love this one the best is because we are all so busy. I love flash frozen fish, but the truth is, sometimes we run out of food. You almost always can find a can of tuna or salmon in your house. And I literally make this with, like if I'm by myself, one can of tuna. I'll take a little bit of salsa. Sometimes I have a tablespoon left. And one egg white. Make it in a little patty. I throw it in a pan, a nonstick pan. It takes 1 to 2 minutes per side. And I have to tell you, it is decadent. And then if it gets too dry, which lean proteins can, this is a huge cooking tip, you can always pour water into the pan and add more back. And that kind of helps it'll moisten it up, for one. But if you have enough seasoning in it, and like I'm a garlic powder fiend, I love it, that'll give you enough broth to put over I'll put that over a bed of lettuce, and then I don't even need dressing. And so one thing I find about tuna is that this is a fish that almost everybody will eat. And I'm guessing some of you probably want to know, well, what about the mercury? Well, the truth is, it's not easy to get mercury poisoning, and if you eat tuna 3 nights a week, the odds of you getting it are slim to none, especially as you're reducing fat, because it's our fat cells that house all that stuff. And mercury is all over. Having said that, I would pray that you would go to different foods like shrimp and scallops, and you can always take those two foods like scallops and throw them in a food processor and use those here, because they're not fishy. So one night I'd like to do a cooking thing with you, because I find people just lose their creativity when they go on a diet. They don't know what to do. And I say, you shouldn't even feel like you're on a diet, really. Let's talk about radically transforming the body. So not just losing a pound a day, but how do you really get that kind of a makeover where you're like, whoa, look at your body. This young girl in the photo, I think she's down 30 or 40 pounds. But what makes her story really special is she has hypothyroidism, she has polycystic ovary issues, and about 10 other things I won't bore you with on this call. But the point is, she was at Yale New Haven working with the endocrinologist. I couldn't get her to lose an ounce. And I put her on this system, and you can see where she went here. And just, this isn't even the best after of her. We'll get some new photos for you. But the point is, she wasn't exercising, pushing hard. She's young. But because she followed the thermogenic diet, she lost a lot of weight. And so anybody who's stuck, I urge you to eat those foods that you think are healthy and start looking at them. If it's not from the fish category or the green category, you got to scratch your head and know there's a question mark next to it. Gluten-free craze is killing people. So let's talk about exercise, because that's how we really radically transform our body. Morning exercise is the best way to quickly transform your body and force it to burn fat as fuel. It allows you to bust through anybody who's having a weight loss plateau, or no matter what they do, they can't lose weight. My recommendation is swap out what you're doing. Stop. Whatever you've been doing clearly isn't getting you where you want to go. Stop it. Get up in the morning and exercise on an empty stomach. And one of the reasons that I am huge, I'm actually a big advocate for people not to go to the gym, is I find when they go to the gym, they get lost. They don't go in the morning because it's too much work. And they end up having to eat, and it messes with this whole system we're talking about. So my recommendation would be set your alarm an hour earlier, get up an hour earlier, and do the metabolic boosting workout. Throw her on, guys. You can do this with your women. Get up and do your workout right at your house, and that makes it so easy to get up on an empty stomach, do the metabolic workout, in 30 minutes you're done. And if you don't have 30 minutes, chop it into 10-minute segments, chop it into 15, but you will see a huge change in your body with that one move alone. And I can honestly say that lots of people struggle with energy in the morning, so do I, but the minute you get up and you start moving the weight, miracles occur even before coffee has gone down. So if you want to get up and drink black coffee and take an accelerator, that would be great to do. You can even take a cutting edge, but don't eat or touch the shake until you're done. And that one change alone as a lifestyle change is the best tip you're ever going to get for how can you transform it. So I know if you're a nighttime exerciser, you might not love that advice, but if you really, really want this change, try new things and you might be shocked. Because metabolic boosting exercise, like the workout that's in the metabolism solution, that is a really good workout, by the way. All of the ones that are on my videos are all metabolic. They burn twice as many calories in half the time. And the other thing that I love about those, mind you, I'm a trainer trained in all types of exercise. Pilates, you name it, I do it all. People say, how do you choose what you're going to do? I choose by what people's goals are. If they say that they want to stretch, we do the recovery stretch. If they say that they want to lose weight and they're like stuffed and they're above 40, it's 9 out of 10 times going to be metabolic boosting exercise because it serves all purposes. It boosts your metabolism. It changes your body's biology, by the way. It reshapes the body the fastest. And when people see those changes fast, they want to work out. And so I'm going to urge you to stop whatever other workouts you're doing. And some of them might even feel harder, but that's another good point. If you train too hard and push your body into a specific zone, you stop fat loss. Because exercise is stress to our body, and we all already stress. So stick to the plan if possible, and try to do metabolic boosting exercise Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So that's my favorite routine. And if needed, I'll box Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. But you see how we've got that nice break in between? And then I'll walk or stretch in between those workouts. But it really is that simple. If you had 3 hours, I wouldn't tell you to spend 3 hours exercising. I would say you shouldn't need to if your diet is on track. So open up those books, pop out that workout. It can be done anywhere, and all you need is a pair of earbuds. In fact, I broke it up page 1 and page 2. So if you don't have time, do the first page one day, and you can do the second page the other. And challenge yourself so you feel like you're working out, but not so hard that you can't have a conversation, because that's critical when it comes to fat loss and weight loss. It's not working too hard. Let's carry on. Anyway, hope I got that home. And set your iPhones next to your bed an hour earlier, or I do it for 2 hours earlier so I can hit snooze, 8 or 9. Supplement stacking. This is an area of huge confusion for a lot of people because, one, I'm extremely conservative, so I like to have people take as little as they possibly can. But there's a lot of people who have played so many diet games or above 40 that they just can't get their body to budge. So if I say something different that's in my book, this I want to go a little deeper and be a little bit more advanced with you guys. So we want to flip that fat burning switch to on like right away. And the best way to do that is with smart supplement stacking. Now, if any of you have any of my supplements on your shelf, you know that each one is a stack of about 19 of the best ingredients. So each one in and of themselves is a stack. It would cost you $500 if you went to the store and said, I'm going to do all the right things. And that was my whole philosophy when I was working with Mark Stewart is, why can't we just blend these and put them into one capsule so that it's easier and it costs a lot less? And so I did. The reason other supplement companies don't do that is because they would rather sell you 18 bottles and make more money. I really would rather see you get results and keep them. So it's really important to know also that these single ingredient supplements, like a lot of people go out and buy raspberry ketones solo, they don't work by themselves. It's like buying a car with one tire. And so you always want to stack them because these types of ingredients work together like an orchestra. When they play together, they sound the best. If you separate them, it's just not the same set of rules. So each one is stacked in and of themselves. But there's a few things that are really important to know, like problems that we have that slow our weight loss. One, being overweight. If you have more than 10 pounds to lose, that alone is going to make it harder to lose weight. And so I don't know about you, but I have been on and worked at every diet place. I have struggled, killed myself in the gym, weighed and measured every string bean I ate, and then at the end, I didn't lose an ounce. And I mean, that used to drive me insane, like, forget it, I'll just stay fat. But this type of system is geared to attack those issues, attack your fat cells, and flip that switch off so your body releases fat. That's where supplements come in. And not everybody needs them, but if you're above 40, if you have been overweight, if you have a low or slow thyroid, if you're tired and you struggle with energy, that tells me a lot about your metabolism, how it plays. If you have hunger and cravings, tells me a little bit about your hardwiring, like when you're stressed, you crave. Not everybody does that, by the way. If you have high blood sugar levels or low blood sugar levels, that turbulence in blood sugar. If you have stubborn body fat on what I'm going to call cold zones, which a lot of doctors are like, wow, cold zones are areas of our body where, and we all have one. Mine would be my lovely inner thigh, that no matter how lean you get, there's that little blob of fat that you can't get rid of. That's because these areas lack sometimes blood flow to that area, and when blood can't reach there, number one, it can't bring nutrients in there, and number two, it can't pull and burn fat out of that area. So we can change them, but the odds of getting rid of them 100%, do your best. I've seen people get rid of theirs. My inner thigh is at least 80% better. But it's good to know that these cold zones, especially if they're larger, hip, buttocks, and thigh, that tells us a lot about your metabolism and where things are stuck. If you have sleep issues, you're not sleeping or you can't stop sleeping, that also tells us a little bit about your body's biology, what's going on with it and what needs to be addressed. And here's one I don't think is talked about enough, stress and the effects on your body. If I could tell you 50,000 stories about people and how badly stress affects their body. Guys, can you hit mute again on your phone? Thanks. It's not so much the stress, because no matter what we all do, it's never going away. But what we can change is how do we deal with stress? What happens to us when we are stressed? Do we shut down? Do we become a nervous wreck? If you've had too much caffeine, it might make your stress worse. It's our reaction to the stress, or do we learn to take a deep breath and go, oh, well, I'm a big one in with the let go and let God or be dragged. And if I feel like I'm being dragged through life in my stress, then I know I'm probably out in my own way. I've forgotten that God is in control and it isn't me. And so, you know, I'm a firm believer in you have to be spiritually strong if you really want to be physically fit. We really have to start address those learned behaviors with how do we deal with stress. I've learned to hit the pause button, go home. I play with my dogs. I listen to soothing music. But everybody needs to have their thing, and sometimes that could be, like, I'll go home and do the recovery stretch with my family and just breathe it out. The last thing you want to do here's where stress bombs us, is when we're stressed, we eat. It's really important to understand that while stress is the reason that we eat, it's not an excuse to. And so all of these issues are reasons that supplements can really help you, because if you're having sleep issues, the Lean Sleep was made for that. In fact, I think the world should take that thing at 9 so everybody goes to bed at a decent hour, and this would allow you to get up to do your workouts. Don't wait till you can't sleep. Take 2 if you have to at 9. And also, if you do wake up in the middle of the night and you didn't take it and forgot, take it in the middle of the night and allow yourself to sleep, because here's the punch. If you don't get that melatonin switch flipped the way you need to, melatonin is a regulator of brown fat, and it's brown fat that burns fat and calories. So we want that stuff. We need that switch flipped. And so even if you got less sleep, if you took the melatonin, you would start to see changes in your life which reduce stress. And no matter what we do in life, if we're well fed and slept, everything just seems chipper. So I can't stress your sleep hygiene, enough. High blood sugar levels. Anybody who's struggling with belly fat should really be relying on the carb edge to reduce that, because it is such a kingpin. And if you are high in high blood pressure, or you just can't seem to get your body to shed an ounce, and you're doing most of what I'm telling you, start taking that carb edge at breakfast, lunch, and then again at 3. So maybe the 1 or 2 times that's suggested in the book isn't enough. You can more than add 2 more times to it. The only recommendation I'm going to make is it's really important that you know your body. And if you take these supplements at 3 and they keep you up, I hate that for myself. So I try to get all my supplements except for the cleanse and melatonin and omega-3 in before noon, just because I am so sensitive. I also go to bed early, and I love to get my good sleep. So start to really pay attention to your body. And the other thing that the carb edge and cutting edge help with is cravings and hunger. So whenever I see people falling in a hole with hunger and cravings, the first thing I ask is, did you take your supplements? And you almost always hear a no. When I took them, it worked. And when I stopped, it didn't. Well, none of us would have more than 10 pounds to lose, didn't struggle in these areas. So take them like a tool, like a pair of swimmies that are going to help you learn how to swim. Also, all of these issues siphon B vitamins out of our bodies like there's no tomorrow, and both of them are loaded with the cutting edge, the carb edge, and the accelerator with B complex vitamins that we just can't get enough of, not to mention dieting also reduces them. So our needs get elevated. Having said that, the carb edge also enhances thyroid and regulates our body in a way that when it starts lowering blood sugar, that's when our bodies start to drop pounds. The second part, when you add the cutting edge to that, is it hoops in, takes fat, and lures it into the cells, so it's going to be much more prone to be utilized as fuel and burned off. So it's a little bit of a promotion, if you will. If you're already exercising, you can take that before and after you work out, because just because you worked out does not mean that your fat is going to be burned. So it's a little bit of an insurance policy to make sure that that body fat that just got secreted into your system gets uptaked and taken up as energy. So that's why we want to stack our supplements. How do we do that? Here's what it looks like. First thing in the morning when you get up, if you need this advanced kick in the pants for after the holidays, take the accelerator, the cutting edge, and you can and should be taking the D-Boost, especially if you're in the Northeast. That is going to keep you healthy, and it's also going to help with fat loss. So stay on top of those. Take them first thing in the morning, except you wake up with black coffee. And then about 3 hours later, and I'm hoping that you work out right after that. So you have about an hour and a half or more before that next dosage comes in. Your body will have utilized what you just put in it. Like, this is a really critical window before and after you work out. And if you don't work out, just resume 3 hours later. And repeat that. Take the cutting edge, the carb edge. I don't recommend taking the accelerator again unless you're someone who really, really is struggling with energy. I feel like that accelerator is so powerful, most people only need it once. Having said that, if your energy is really tanked and you're doing just about everything right, it's just the way your system is, You can play with it again the second time if you need to, but be aware of your anxiety levels. Where are you? Is it a good day to do that? Blah, blah, blah. After that one, every time you do this, you're going to get your hit of water. Morning, midday, and then 3 hours later, which usually works out to be about lunchtime, repeat the cutting edge and the carb edge again. Now, you can pump all these and take more in the morning, but what we're doing, this is called nutrient partitioning. So all day, we're stoking the metabolism in the morning. When it starts to slow down, 3 hours later, we're hitting it again. When it starts to slow down, we're going to hit it again with the cutting edge and carb edge. And then about 3 hours later, mid-afternoon, when it really starts to nosedive, and this is a critical spot right here, that's 3 hours later. This is usually the 3 o'clock zone for me. This is where you absolutely want that carb edge and the pure omega, because there's a fat in there that takes a long time to digest. And so this is exactly what we want as we come into the witching hour. Not only is it going to suppress our cravings by lowering blood sugar or balancing it in that zone, but it also is going to make sure that that blood sugar stays moderated so that when you get into this dinner hour, you're in a better spot and you're also not craving so crazy. You'll notice that while you might physically be hungry because we're used to just hand-to-mouthing all day long, if you stopped and asked yourself, am I really hungry? What you would find is you probably could blow through that and not eat, but you have more control over your food. And that's huge for most of us. Is I am seeing things with the most grounded people lately that just blow me away, that at dinner time, they're just coming unraveled. You know, they get home, their husbands, their kids, their wives, work, they don't even know what they're eating. And so we kind of want to, if you think about it like landing a plane, we want to land it nice and gradual. So you can make sure, how do you do this? I mean, my thing that I would do is I would take these supplements and keep them in my purse. I mean, I have a pretty heavy purse, but I have to bring these with me so that I can always have them with me. If they're not with me in my purse, the odds of me forgetting, huge. I have 3 desks at 3 different places, so I have supplements out on all of them. That way, they're all around me, and I just can't, forget to take them. And those little things, like packing your supplements with you, huge. The preparation, organization, and whenever, I'm always amazed when I see people who lose the weight, how organized. They're really organized, better than I am. Having your system in place, so take them now, throw them in the bag, and don't leave home without them. Someone just asked the question, do we take the first set of supplements with black coffee before the morning workout and take the shake for breakfast? Absolutely. Perfect before your workout, black coffee, and then after the workout, drink the shake. And if it's been long enough, you can take the supplements again, especially if you're lacking in energy, by all means. So great question. Do you take the supplements food or before eating? Nope, they're fine on an empty stomach. And then like it doesn't matter, like you're going to take that first one in the morning. Clearly there is no food there. You're going to have the shake after your morning workout. And sometimes, like at that 3 o'clock or so, you might not be eating anything. And I don't know about, most people don't get sick to their stomach. These are very clean, easy to digest supplements. But it's always important to drink a glass of water. So my suggestion is don't worry about it. Don't be black or white. But the most important thing isn't that you be perfect with them, but that you just take them. So if you're an hour late, take them anyway. But if we're so meticulous with our time sometimes, we'll miss a whole dosage because we're late. It's okay, and that's going to happen. After that afternoon, the Lynn Carb Edge and the Pure Omega, that is a great place for a green apple. I mean, when I take my own advice, it blows me away. Huge glass of water, or I'm big into warm water with lemon because it detoxes your liver. It also makes the uptake of the supplements faster. That is like unbelievable good health habit. That'll help keep you full so that at dinner time, when you're making your fish and your steamed vegetables, or you can put some sauce on them, this is the time that you want to take the raspberry ketone cleanse. Now, a lot of people are getting the raspberry ketone cleanse confused with the accelerator. Don't be confused, because this accelerator that you take in the morning accelerates fat loss and your energy and everything else, and your fat loss, tricks your body into thinking like a thin person. There are raspberry ketones in it, and they're powerful. There's also a little bit of caffeine. These Lynn Raspberry Ketone Cleanse don't have caffeine, and it's more raspberry ketones, so that as your metabolism nosedives towards the end of the day, we're going to keep it elevated without energizing later. And it's mixed with some enzymes that help break down your dinner. And one of the things that anybody who's having a hard time losing weight or is metabolic resistant struggles with is that our digestion is impaired. So you hear a lot of food sensitivities, you'll hear a lot of constipation issues. All of them are because our bodies just don't break down food the way they should. And so when we say metabolic boosting, people think, oh, we're not just hyping your energy. Not my program anyway, some do. We're actually fixing the problem at the root. We're fixing the reasons we have this issue. Like if it's digestion, this little raspberry ketone cleanse at dinner, and don't be afraid, I know the bottle says take for, and you have to put that one, it has a cleanse. This is not a cleanse that you have to be worried about in the morning, if you know what I mean. This is digestive enzymes. It does have some stuff, some fiber, lots of ingredients here that are going to help digest the food so your body uptakes the nutrients it needs. That means thermogenic, it's going to burn it up, use it, and also that any byproducts get excreted. So if anybody is missing this ketone cleanse, this is a hugely powerful step that can change so much for you. And anything that you're going to do is better than nothing. So if you can't do all of it for financial reasons, make sure you're getting my newsletter and get a discount. But stock up on these because this could help your problem more than you realize. And this is paramount. There's lots of studies on this lately, and I've been doing lots of blogs for medical shows lately. 69% of all overweight people have a metabolic issue that will stop them from losing weight unless the issue is addressed. And this is where supplements come in. I was like everybody else. I don't want to take all those. But the truth is, if you look at our homes, we have medications that we take because we have side effects from these metabolism issues. At least these things are healthy and they're going to make you feel better and reach your goal in a productive way, where medications just have so many stuff. The side effects of my stuff is you're going to lose weight and be happy and healthy. The side effects of medications are they're really hurting people out there. So we want to address that metabolic issue and fix the problem at the source so we don't just take the weight off, you keep it off. And I don't know if you have more than 10 pounds to lose and you're on this call, my guess is you're like, yeah, and nobody's ever said that. Nobody ever talks about that. Next, I really believe it's super strong, you know, believe, begin, become. I think that believe word is often overlooked for me. I never really even did what I was supposed to when I was trying to lose weight because I really didn't believe it was going to happen for me. And so if you're stuck, it's important that you start to address what I refer to as stinking thinking. What are you thinking? Because your thoughts are going to become your actions, and your actions become your outcomes. Start really thinking about and visualizing. Fake it till you make it, and don't be afraid to be positive because you have nothing to lose. And ask yourself those things because our belief systems do affect our outcome. You know, what is your why for wanting to make this change? This is a huge thing I ask everybody who gets coaching with me. Why? Why do you want to change? Or why do you think you're not getting it? Because your reasons and your answer to that question could totally change everything. I've seen people who wanted to lose weight for vanity, and when their kids were crying and said, Dad, we really need you to lose weight. We're scared that we're going to lose you. And it became about health. It changed everything. Because while he was overweight, he was okay with that. And so these are questions you really should be pondering. If your mind wants to go negative and pick on yourself, start asking yourself, what is my why? Remove everybody's voice and start thinking about that. And everybody says this, losing weight is really hard, but so is being overweight. So we have to decide which hard we want to choose. And I'm going to answer some questions before we go on. Someone asked if they don't work out in the morning but have their shake, which supplements do I take? All three? I would say absolutely. And I would really say, you know what, get up and do 10 minutes of exercise. Have a black coffee, take the 3 supplements, do 10 minutes of abs, do the plank for 2 minutes and push-ups. Those are 2 things you can do. And then drink the shake and go to work. Life-changing. But I could almost predict that if you don't do it in the morning, the odds of you doing it later are slim to none. And even if you can work out later, whenever you see before and afters posted professionally, they are always instructed to work out in the morning because our biology is different. And so I would suggest, sorry about that you start to do something in the morning and push yourself out of your safe zone a little bit. If you feel like you go to the gym for social reasons later, well, great, go and do cardio and walk later, but get up and do the metabolic boosting workout because of all the workouts in my career I've ever done for pros, for models, for actors, the Metabolic Booster and the Fat Blaster have renovated bodies in a way that even I still, my jaw's on the floor. But more importantly, without hurting anybody. It's not an hour in the gym, so I hope that helps. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and if anybody has any questions, please send them right over. And if I have not shown your before and after, I want to. So send me your before photos or take them. Maybe today is your someday, and you're going to start, take your before photo and send it over to me. And guys, remember that in my book, everything we discussed is listed. So if you're interested in thermogenic foods, just cut right to that section. If you want the list, just look at that section. But I urge you to read the why. For me, you couldn't just tell me, eat this. I had to know why. Like, I want you to think about a glass of water that's just pure, clear water. And you take one drop of food dye, it changes the entire glass red. And when we have that one glass of wine, that one cookie, that one cereal bar from the supermarket, or anything that's loaded, juicing is big this week, that changes our blood sugar chemistry, our blood sugar levels, and all bets are off with weight loss. And so I'm not saying you can't cheat a little, but you got to figure out what it is that you can get away with and what you can't if you're not losing. Which shake do you recommend, regular or higher protein? Well, of course I'm going to say I like mine, Susan. And one of the reasons that I made my own brand was because when I was training Mark Stewart, I could not find one that was clean enough for women, that had the right amino acid profile for weight loss, because it's specific, and everything had to be geared. It had to have 24 grams of protein, which is a serving. It had to be purified whey to remove all lactose. And so that was the reason I made mine. I didn't plan on getting here. But I say 24 grams of protein, and definitely between my two shakes, they both have 24 grams of protein. One of them is just sweetened with stevia, the new advanced, and the other one is sweetened with Splenda. So if you have a really bad sweet tooth, you want the Splenda, but there's a lot of people that think it's too sweet and love stevia. I recommend the one that you like best, calls you to it every day for best results. And I tend to keep all of them at my house because sometimes when my sweet tooth kicks, I'll shake up, you know, a chocolate complete protein. But what I am loving about the advanced is I have this new little cappuccino maker, and I can pre-make the advanced and put it in the refrigerator. When I get up, I put it in my cappuccino maker, and it froths up. It's like a little Nespresso or espresso machine because it's so light and fluffy. So find one you like that you can play with, and both of them are good. If you don't like the flavor of one, don't bother, you know, with it. Get the one that you love, because my experience with protein shakes, and the reason I made mine was if it didn't taste good, you weren't going to do it. So buy the one you love and stick to the one that works. You're like, oh, I want that. You know, I don't know if you guys have made any of the recipes in the book, but there's a lot of people really struggling with cravings right now. You can take 2 scoops with some water and make like a crepe in a pan. There's like, you can take it and put it in Jell-O, so it makes Jell-O taste like pudding. But remember that every time you drink that, you're giving your metabolism a little hit. And if you're struggling with weight loss, you really want that. All right, guys, it has been a pleasure helping you. If anybody needs anything, you know where to find me. And don't forget, if you need to, you can up, you know, your shakes and supplements if you're stuck at weight loss, or you can always make sure you're getting those 10,000 steps. So I hope to see you next week. We're going to do some webinars on cooking, and another one called I Only Ate a Little. It's going to be a little bit like a confessional, so that I can go over the top mistakes people make when they're trying to lose weight that are keeping them from reaching their goals. Have a fantastic evening, and I hope you get up early and exercise in the morning. Bye-bye.